What is up? This is Dylan back with the Average Toy Collector. I wanted to get another toy video up and I found a little extra time today, so I'm gonna put another action figure video up. We've got STOMP Series 2 today as we work through that line to show you guys all of the figures that came in the STOMP series. So this is Series 2. This is probably where it took a little bit of a downturn and why this only lasted 3 series is. In my opinion, this is where it gets pretty ridiculous. I love Series 1. I think the concept was a cool concept. I think the idea was a cool idea to do the military style figures. And outside of Ahmed Johnson, who was kind of a weird farmer looking one, they all were pretty military looking. And this is where it gets wild. You'll see what I mean in a second, but this is Series 2, and we're going to start with the first figure here. And the first figure is a repeat from the first series, and that is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I think you can probably already see what I mean by the ridiculousness. This theme for Series 2 was underwater. They were doing all their fighting underwater. So terrorists were doing stuff underwater, I guess. I don't know. But you can see he has air tanks on the back and the fins. He does still have a gun. All of the guns have these like cords that come out of them on this figure to hook it to the air pack itself. They all have flippers that they come with instead of extra boots. You can see on Austin there, they have the knives in there. And then they all come with some type of face mask. This Austin face scan is absolutely awful. This is even worse than the first one. So again, another downfall from Series 1 is the likeness, especially on the Austin. So rough there. The underwater theme definitely did not go over for me as a kid. I don't believe I had any of these figures to my knowledge as a kid. If I did, I must have lost them because I have no recollection of any of these figures. On top of the fact that you can still take off all the gear and somewhat have a normal wrestling figure, but literally none of these 6 figures look anything like what they looked in the ring. At least in the first wave, for the most part, they looked pretty decent compared to what they looked like in the ring. None of them were perfect. But Austin literally never wore yellow and purple. Like, he has a cutoff shirt on. Like, this is the furthest thing from a Stone Cold Steve Austin figure, honestly. Like, if you were to just say, hey, tell me what a Stone Cold Steve Austin figure would look like, even without all the accessories, you would never land here. So that's where it gets unfortunate, because you definitely, in my opinion, you don't really appeal to the wrestling fan purists out there, and you don't really appeal to the military fans out there, because like, this is so unrealistic, and a lot of military guys, even kids, they want something that's realistic. Like, they want something that they can see out there. Like, they see military guys, they see the way they dress, they see those things out there, and that's what they want. And like, it just misses for me with this one. I understand if you love this set. I still love the STOMP series as a whole, and I love the idea. This wave just really doesn't do it for me, unfortunately, and it's a shame, because I think this could have went longer if they would have just stuck with that military style and then given us some new guys. The rest of this line, the rest of this series, I should say, is all brand new guys, which is really cool to see if they would have just stuck with that military theme. So let me stop harping on that. This is Stone Cold Steve Austin, like I said. Let me get to the next one. The next heavy hitter of the line, in my opinion, that's another thing, is like the quality control really kind of dipped on these. When I was doing that first video, you probably never saw accessories fall off, and like I barely touched it and his boot falls off. So like, yeah, like that's it. I mean, the accessories in Series 2 are just not the same quality as Series 1, which is unfortunate. That also makes displaying them very difficult, because they're very hard to keep standing, to keep their accessories on, things like that. Series 2 also stinks to display because they have all those wires. Let me grab the next figure here. This is The Rock, and as you see, all I did was pick him up and his chest piece is essentially falling off. His air thing has fallen off on the back. Like, that's what I mean by it. It's just a shame that they couldn't get this right. There goes his chest piece, but it is what it is. Hindsight's 20/20, I suppose. I'm sure somebody in the Jakks Pacific realm thought this was a great idea and it was going to sell like hotcakes. So kudos for them, I guess, for trying it, but it just didn't work. This is the Rock. Like I said, he does come with the chest piece. This fell right off as I picked him up. So there's that. There's his face, his mask. I believe the funny thing is he has glasses on underneath it. So still kind of getting that Rock look there. It helps a little bit with him having a better likeness in the figure than the Austin did because of the glasses kind of covering up those eyes. He's got this little gold gun here. Slip that mask back on for him. Wouldn't want those glasses to get too wet. And then he has the long blue and red pants. Again, an outfit he never wore in the ring. And this was like, I believe, early 98-ish, maybe late 97, early 98-ish that this came out. So again, The Rock is right about at that peak of him getting super hot. So a good figure to get. And like, if you didn't have a Rock figure in your collection yet, this would be a really cool, super exciting one to get. But at this time, I'm sure there was so many Rock figures starting to hit on the shelves that there were so many better options, which is unfortunate for the Stomp series. But yeah, that is the Rock. So let me move on to the next one. God, I'm just losing accessories all over the place here. It's just really disappointing, man, that they couldn't keep the accessories the same quality as in the first series. I'm gonna have to find that boot later because it's definitely down on the floor somewhere. Next up, we have Owen Hart. This is another one that, again, the air tanks on the back don't ever seem to want to stay on. It's attached to the gun and not his face, which I just realized, I guess. I mean, I'm sure I noticed it before, but like, they have this ridiculous hose here to get air to the gun, but like, none of it gets to his mouth or his lungs, I should say. And like, I feel like that would be important if you're underwater as being a human, but I could be wrong. I guess let me know in the comments if air is important. But yeah, they went with this kind of pink and gray scheme, which kind of makes sense for Owen Hart because, you know, all the Hart family, the Hart Foundation, that kind of thing, they were always like a pink, black kind of scheme. So I guess I maybe see where they were going with this. But again, he never wore this in the ring. If we take the mask off, there's the likeness. It's not terrible, I guess. I don't know if anybody would be able to tell me this is Owen Hart just by handing him this figure. But now that I know it's Owen Hart, I guess I can see it. So we'll pop that mask back on him there. I'm literally holding this chest piece on basically with my finger so it doesn't go flying like that other boot. But the boots are actually kind of cool now that I see it. I like these pink little wings coming out. That's pretty cool. He's got an extra gun down here. This doesn't come out, but that is down there for the looks. And then he has the knife. He has the little silver gun there with the hose, but a cool figure. And again, the Owen Hart is probably one of the better ones in the series. I wouldn't say the best one. My favorite one or the best one is still coming up, but in my opinion, that would be one of the better ones. I think the best one we've seen so far is that Owen Hart for sure. But let's move on. The next one is kind of a first for this series. We have the first tag team in the Stomp series. And a slight spoiler for Series 3, it's the only tag team in the Stomp series. So again, cool idea, but if I don't have any other tag teams in the Stomp series, I can't really do much with that. Like, I'm not wrestling with this tag team too much with my other tag teams because they don't really look right or fit in. And then they didn't give me any more tag teams in the Stomp line, so I can't do any special matches with just Stomp figures in the Stomp line. So like, it's really disappointing there. I like that they made these figures because it's a tag team that I think deserved more figures than they got. But like, it just didn't make sense to me, I guess. So And to be honest, even as a big wrestling fan, I don't know who's who. But this is Mosh and Thrasher. This is the Headbangers. If you don't know them by their name, they're the dudes that wore like the craziest outfits back during the Attitude Era. They always wore skirts. They had like weird like bra things that looked like weird fuzzy breasts. They had the craziest outfits. I don't kind of mean to be non-politically correct there or anything, but like I'm just kind of trying to describe what they looked like, and it was crazy. They wore all kinds of different stuff. But again, two figures that were really good, cool to get figures, and they didn't get a ton of other action figures. This is just not the way I wanted them. As a kid, I wanted them in those ridiculous looking outfits with the skirts. They don't even come with skirts in this one. Like, I just wanted them to look the way they should. I lost the chest plate already on this one. Kind of a closer up on just the one, but he has this giant harpoon type of gun. He's in a green and brown color scheme. Again, never worn. They all have flippers. I forgot to mention that maybe, that their boot covers are all flippers instead of boots like in the first one. But that is one of the Headbangers. And then the second one has the purple and orange color scheme going for him. The other thing that kind of stinks about this one, obviously you're kind of meant to have the chest piece on, but this is a naked torso that they then just painted over. So essentially, this is a torso that was made to be naked looking for a wrestler that doesn't wear a top. And instead of making like a new torso that looks more like a shirt, they just painted over it with that purple and orange color scheme. So it looks really funny. I don't think it comes through on the camera as well, but like looking at it here in person for me is like really awkward. Like, your abs are never that defined when you have a t-shirt on. You can even see like the outlines of his pecs and like where his little nipple pops through. Like, they're rarely ever that defined when you're wearing t-shirts, so like you can really tell that it's just a paint job. Kind of makes it look like a custom almost, but I did purchase all of these and opened all these from the pack, so like all the quality control issues that you're seeing with all these accessories flying off, even the one like the Rock, when I picked him up, his leg was like super loose dangling on there, so like really disappointing. I know they sat in a package for, you know, over 20 years, like I get that, but still, opening something brand new from a package, even if it's 20 years old, it's never even been played with, so like you wouldn't think these things would have loose joints like that. So that's the Headbangers. We've got one more figure left, and it is the first woman in the line. So this is my favorite figure from the series. I think this is the one that was the best done, the most well done, if to say that. Now, unfortunately, the chest piece still does come off, which is frustrating, but this is China. This is the first female in the line. It's not the only female, as you'll see in Series 3, but it is the first one, and I think they did really well with this one. I like this one a lot. Her gun is kind of a weird, it's almost like a sonar type thing, and then she has the blue fins and that kind of thing. She has the blue fins down here. Now, she never wore this color, definitely, but this is her gear. Like, this is gear based on gear that she wore. They just painted it blue instead of black. This is actually the exact figure that came out if you were to buy just a China figure. They just painted it and then put the accessories on her. So if you were to go to the store and just find your normal everyday China figure, it looked exactly like this, minus the accessories, and painted in black instead of blue. So essentially, the silver is always silver, the black strips are always black, and then the blue top and the blue pants are painted blue. Everything else is virtually identical. So this is a lot easier to imagine as a real figure when you take the gear off than some of these other ones. And I think this is just a solid figure. I think the likeness is good. I like the bulk to it. China was a very big woman at this point in the WWF. So I like that this is bulky. It feels the same size as some of these men. So they did a really good job on this China. And to be honest with you, just painting her real gear blue was the best decision they made out of this whole set. Trying to make these figures so crazy and like fantasy gear that they never wore. Underwater, like, I mean, we have Navy SEALs and stuff that do stuff underwater, but like, I don't think it's to the extent sometimes is what they thought this looked like. Like, guns with air hoses and stuff, that seems unlikely. Anyways, let me grab that boot because I just saw it. So I found the Rocks boot that we dropped. So unfortunately, like, to sum up Series 2, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, so the whole video has just been my opinion. If anybody else talks about it or you see any other YouTubers, like, they can have a totally different opinion, that's fine. This is just my view from where I sit with this line, and it just missed for me. Series 1 is definitely the best. Series 3 is okay. I think it's a little better than Series 2, so when we get to that, I think it'll be good, but yeah, so I don't know. I guess give me your opinion. What do you think of this underwater theme? I'm sure there's people out there that love it, and I don't fault Jax for trying it by any means. I just think it, in my opinion, like I said, I think it missed with the purist wrestling fans, and I think it missed with the military fans. If you wanted to do something like this, I think you do it once you've proven this product and once you get both wrestling and military fans looking for it, on the hunt for it. I think with Series 1, it's a new product, so wrestling fans may know about it because it's probably stocked right in the wrestling section, whereas military fans or fans of that type of action figure have to go out of their way to find it. So with Series 1, you start to get that noise out there about it, and you start to get some of that military fan looking into it, and then to jump right into something like this that's so different than Series 1, I think probably turned some people off. I could be totally wrong about all this. So I don't know any of this for a fact. I don't know if any of this is why Jax did stop the Stomp line. This is just my thought process on what happened. So again, I could be totally wrong. Don't take this as the 100% truth by any means. I just think from my standpoint, that's what happened. I think they got a little too weird, a little too quick, and that's what caused it to fizzle out. But what do you guys think about Series 2? Do you think Series 1 is better than Series 2? We'll talk about Series 3 soon. And then we can kind of rank all of them, and you guys can offer your opinion on what you think the best series is, what's your favorite, figure from the whole kit and caboodle, and go from there. So this has been Dylan with The Average Toy Collector, and I will see you guys in the next one.